Welcome back to the My Team save, hoping to have significantly better fortunes this time around after our really frustrating DNF in Mexico. To be fair, it was frustrating before the DNF because for some reason, probably set up that we didn't quite get right, we were slow in Mexico, but we're very much hoping to not be here in Brazil. I'm just ahead of Lance and Esteban in the drivers' standings. We are just behind Alpine in the constructors, but I'm going to have to take another grid penalty here to put another gearbox in the cars. We've had at least 2, if not 3 gearbox failures this season. I think 2. So we're not in a great spot with regards to our durability and our parts. We're also not necessarily in a great spot with regards to the R&D as well, but everybody's leveled off, as you can see, as they're prioritising next season. We've already spent all of our points to update everything for next season, so we should actually be able to put some more bits on between now and the end of this year and actually start to climb the ladder a little bit more. As you can see, we've got a handful in the process of being done at the moment. English, do you speak it? So we're level, basically, with AlphaTauri, Williams and McLaren, and only slightly behind Haas and Alpine. So, fingers crossed, we can do something here in Brazil. Weather-wise, it's dry for the majority, but the race will get wet in the middle and then back to dry again. And with 74 and 88% rain percentages, as you'll be able to see if I just do that, then we certainly will be going to intermediate tyres and then back to dry weather running. So it's going to be an intriguing one. Obviously a sprint weekend, as you can see as well, so we're only going to get one practice session before we end up heading out to actually qualify for the sprint race. So hopefully we can hit the ground running. Do drop the video a like if you've enjoyed so far this save, of course. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any more. The Southampton save is finished. The F1 Manager save starts very soon indeed. So do make sure you subscribe to this channel to watch it. And of course, if you want to see all of it, rather than just the edited highlights, as with this save, then come and follow me on Twitch. Link in the description down below. And you'll be able to see all of the footage from both saves. Right, I'm going to load my Brazilian My Team setup, and we're going to go straight to track and hopefully earn some decent resource points.
R&D team about the new parts, and we're happy that they've been integrated into the car. Okay.
Quali pace apparently nowhere near, but the lap time was perfectly good. Carlos Sainz doing a 181 on hards is scary fast. 181 on hard tyres is eye-watering, to say the least. We're going to put lots of newer parts in, though, for quali, because, well, we want to make sure that the car is as fast as it possibly can be, and then hopefully we can still qualify relatively well, have a decent sprint race, and then whatever happens in the Grand Prix happens in the Grand Prix. So we're going to be comfortably then through to... Oh my god, was that... That's P1? Comfortably through to Q2. Jeez. P1! Yeah, that's not going to happen come Q3, though, I tell you that much. Didn't even happen come the end of Q1 either. Sergio Perez has taken a 5-place grid penalty. That's something to keep an eye on. A 108.7, though, is the fastest I've been all weekend, as Jamie goes out in P20, as does Nico, Albon, Zhou Guanyu, Nick De Vries, and Logan Sargent. Charlie's back in the gang. Thank you for the 2nd month, mate. I don't know if I've ever watched the video, to be honest. It's Katy Perry, right? That's probably the best I've taken that turn all race weekend so far. If I can get this last turn right, we could be on for a really good lap here. This feels like it's been a very good lap. Purple middle sector. We're going to do a 108.4, which certainly is the best lap that we've done all weekend we've put in a time that currently puts me P1, but there is still, obviously, everyone else to go over the line to improve. So we'll see if we keep that P1. I think we're going to be through to Q2, though. Verstappen goes faster than me by 2 tenths. Comes the Aston Martin. Doesn't improve. Gasly goes P3. That's a great time. Leclerc goes on, well, I say provisional pole. It's Q2, isn't it? The other Alpine comes through and doesn't improve into the top 5. Lewis goes first, despite following a McLaren. We're down to P4. Still the other Red Bull to come through and the other Ferrari. We should be good for Q3 here. Still P4. P5 now as Russell goes faster than me into P2. Perez goes P6. So that is us through to Q3 with a very, very, very good lap time. A 1:08.4 certainly is the most hooked up lap I've put in all weekend long. Delighted with that. Shame I couldn't save that sort of lap for Q3 really, but we'll go again and hope to get somewhere near it. But I may even include the whole lap for that, because that was one of the best laps around Brazil I think I've ever done in terms of smoothness and flow. Carlos Sainz out in the Ferrari. He only qualified P14. Obviously the sprint is going to help him improve, but that is not great from Carlos Sainz. They're missing up by 3 tenths. Valtteri Bottas is now taking 2 5-place penalties and an overall 10-place grid penalty. We know Sergio Perez is taking a 5-place grid penalty as well. We ultimately would take a grid penalty too. So we'll qualify as best as we can, then race as fast as we can in the sprint, but ultimately we'll probably end up starting outside the top 10 in the main Grand Prix after our penalties. Had a really, really poor first sector. Going to do 1:08.6, but it wasn't a great lap. It's good enough for P6. I had maybe another 2 tenths in there, probably, at most. 1:08.6 is still, I think, the second best lap time I've done. I might have been able to put it into the top 5 if I hadn't had such a scrappy first sector, but that is a strong showing. Really strong showing in qualifying with a sprint race to come. Hopefully, even despite the grid penalty, we might end up with some points here today. All resource points and development boosts achieved. We're stacking up the resource points at the minute, and we're probably more than likely going to have a splurge in the mid-season more so than anything else. So we might be a little bit slower in Bahrain Season 2, but we should make some sharp progress towards the 3rd and 4th races or so in Season 2. Stacking points and cash at the moment. And hopefully we can spend those resource points very soon. For now, though, we're concentrating on the sprint, which will be dry throughout. 24 laps of the Interlagos circuit on the way. Probably on mediums, actually. I imagine the majority are on mediums, right? Oh. Almost, well, everybody other than Fernando Alonso is on softs. I don't know about that. Do I soft it or do I medium it? The softs, I agree that the softs are a stretch. I might take the Fernando Alonso option and go for a set of mediums. It might mean we have to do an extra stop in the Grand Prix. All right, mediums it is. Me and Fernando Alonso are breaking the mould. All right then, medium tyres for the sprint race. Here we go!
Sprints
Is there no formation lap? Where's my formation lap? What? Hang on. Where's my formation lap? All right, no formation lap then here in Brazil. Decent enough start. Says as he then dips a wheel on the grass. Let's use some battery down here. Now we're fully expecting to fall a couple of places in the early stages, but hopefully we'll be able to earn those back with the medium tyres later on in the sprint. I'm a bit bemused by the lack of a formation lap, but maybe it's just a glitch that needs patching. not encountered that before, and I definitely didn't turn them off. Hamilton and Leclerc right in front of me. We are definitely faster through the middle sector, but in a straight line, because of the setup that we're running, we don't quite have it. So we're going to have to use DRS to our advantage and ERS to our advantage to stay competitive. And I'm going to have to make sure that I A, have a strong middle sector, and B, get that final corner right every lap to give myself a chance down the straight to A, catch those in front, and B, defend from those behind. But not a bad start. Started P6, have held P6, and we'll try and keep that as the case for the rest of the race. Hamilton just pulling out of the slipstream of the car in front. Whether maybe he's running hot or he thought about maybe having a look or what, but he definitely pulled out of the slipstream of Charles Leclerc there. The gap behind to Lando is now over a second. I don't know whether he had DRS down the main straight or even down that straight or not, but we're gapping Lando behind. This is so far our strongest weekend of the season after our weakest weekend of the season, and so topsy-turvy has our experience been this season. After a P7 in America, followed by a DNF but whilst running P18 in Mexico, we're now running P6 in the sprint in Brazil. That says to me it was setup related in Mexico and had nothing to do with the competitiveness of the car. Now we certainly are more than a second ahead of Lando, and hopefully can just continue to gap him as his tyres go off. Fuel I set at 1.5 laps, and it is only down to 1.4 laps, so I think we might be able to underfuel a little bit maybe for the race. It's key information this sprint race for the full Grand Prix, both tyre stint wise and fuel wise. We look good right now. We are sat pretty in P6, just waiting for the soft tyred runners to become less and less competitive compared to ourselves. Seems like Fernando Alonso has inspired us to make the right decision and go to mediums as well. I wouldn't be surprised if Fernando actually gets past Lando soon and maybe starts to close up on me. Fernando's got both Alpines behind him. For our Constructors' Championship, I very much need Fernando to hold those two off, really. We really need Alpine to score no points in this sprint race, hopefully in the main race as well, but at least in some regard, I just need to outscore Alpine personally. It will help next year when hopefully we have a faster second driver that can help me get some points as well. At the minute, neither Jamie nor Hauger at the beginning of the season, I think it was Dennis Hauger, wasn't it, we had as our second driver? I can't remember actually. I think it was Dennis Hauger. Whoever we had in the first half of the season. No, it was Iwasa, wasn't it? Neither Iwasa nor Jamie Chadwick are able to challenge for points or even really a Q2 appearance at the minute. So I'm fighting my own battle up here on my own against two Alpines for the Constructors. But hopefully next year, if we can afford a better second driver, then maybe we might be in a position to challenge a bit higher up in the Constructors' Championship than where we are right now. So we might be able to underfuel for the Grand Prix, especially with some rain in there as well. 4 seconds to gap behind now. I don't want to jinx myself into a DNF, but I'm even more confident now of not finishing any lower than 6th. This is a proper just DRS train at the front 6. No one's quite able to challenge anyone else at the moment. But I might throw the cat amongst the pigeons in about 5 or 6 laps time and try and make some progress as their softs continue to go off. Just before my mediums fall off the edge of their cliff, I want to make the most of that last little bit of grip. Do I? I'm going to have a look at the inside of Lewis here. That's P5. Alright, let's make the most of these medium tyres now that their softs are going to be heading towards the edge of their first fall off cliff. Can we make some progress even further forward from where we are? That was a nice overtake. I enjoyed that one. Charles going to go defensive into one. They're getting around the outside. I'm trying. Forced a little bit too far wide. He pinched a bit. No, he's kept the position. Lewis is now getting involved. He's backed out. Maybe into turn 4 is actually a better place to try and overtake.
Okay, they're slowing down.
Oh, man.
Seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
Fernando's got an issue. Ocon is, or one of the Alpines is actually into the points now for the sprint race too. Alonso's retiring. He's not just slowing down because he's got an issue. Alonso is retiring and will exit this Grand Prix. That's a shame. I imagine he'll pull into the pits and just retiring the garage. Alonso's had a lot of retirements this year for Aston Martin. And he's retiring at the end of the season, I'm sure. So, not a great final year for him in Formula 1. He's coming out again. Maybe he had a puncture. Must have had a puncture. Sainz is up to P8 now. So that means both Alpines are not getting points anymore, which is good. Keep that up, please. At the minute, I am very disappointed and frustrated at the fact we've had to take that extra gearbox penalty. Imagine if we'd been this competitive here without having to take an extra gearbox and take the penalty. We might have been on for the slim chance of a podium, or at the very least, the strongest race result of our season so far. Right, I'm going to go for Leclerc here on the inside. That's P4.
Okay, that's us with 5 laps of fuel remaining. 5 laps of fuel left.
P4. And hopefully within DRS range of Checo before the end of this middle sector. It's borderline at the minute. No DRS for Checo. Oh, that is a lunge and a half, but that is P3 and a great overtake.
Brilliant, nice move. Keep going.
We are going to get a medal for being on the theoretical podium for the sprint race. I might have bodged an overtake last lap. Caused myself some front wing damage. But we held on. We got the job done. I've got enough battery to get me to the line safely, despite the fact that they've got DRS and I don't. That is by far the best result of the season so far. It's going to be a P3 in the sprint at Brazil, with a grid penalty to come for a change of gearbox. Who knows where we'll finish in the actual race,
Yes, mate,
but that's the best result of the season so far.
Really happy with the podium down here,
From the
so
worst
well done.
in Mexico to the best in Brazil. How things can change in Formula 1. So where will we start then? If others have taken penalties as well, we know Sergio Perez has taken a penalty, so we came P3, but it should be Charles Leclerc in P3, because myself and Perez were taking penalties. It is Leclerc and Sainz, so Hamilton's taking a penalty as well. I start P6, which is where I started the sprint race, P6. So we've only taken a 3-place grid penalty there for the gearbox, which is banging. Hamilton is down in P15 for his penalty. That's not great for him. Jamie starts P18 as Bottas takes a penalty, as well as Yuki and Zhou Guanyu as well. So strategy-wise, what's everyone else doing first? Let's have a look. A split of mediums and softs, and Fernando on the hards. Now, Fernando made the right decision in the sprint. I don't think that's the right decision for this race. We're expecting rain not that far into the race. Seeing as we started on mediums and were competitive in the sprint, I'm going to start on mediums again and hope to be competitive in the main Grand Prix. I'm going to take quite a bit of fuel out because we've got some rain coming, so I'll only go a lap over. And there is a bug at the minute for this Brazil weekend where my formation lap and safety cars are turned off and I can't change them. We're hoping that bug fixes itself after this race weekend. I have reported it to the devs. So here we go then. Medium and then softs, other than whatever wet weather comes. And then, hopefully, another strong finish. Okay, well, now with a formation lap. What a weird bug. 0.1, let's go. That's a great parking
Let's make sure we get the
attempt.
edge on the
Right.
surrounding drivers as the lights go out.
Gasly in front on mediums, Norris behind on mediums. I think Checo's on softs, Ocon's on mediums, as you can see there. Leclerc's on mediums in P3, but Sainz is on softs. a real mix in and around. We know the only driver on hards is Fernando. It's another good start, and we're up past Gasly, and we might be up past Sainz, and we're up towards Charles Leclerc. I stick around the outside of Carlos Sainz here and have the line into 2. We'll force him wide a little bit. That's P4 off the start. Everybody in front, I believe, on mediums. Don't believe Max Verstappen is running soft tyres. He is, in fact. I think that is Max on softs, I believe. Okay. Well, another electric start, another fantastic start to a Grand Prix or race of any kind here in Brazil. Turns out this might be potentially our best track of the weekend. Best track of the season, sorry. Just want to keep myself within DRS range. Verstappen is on his way, though. You can see already the difference between Max Verstappen's soft tyres and Russell and Leclerc's mediums. Purple sector 1 for me, but that was with significant battery use, obviously. Gasly is already nearly a second behind Carlos already. Carlos is thinking about having a look at me here, but we use a bit of battery to defend. We're all right into 4. Here comes Sergio Perez battling with Pierre Gasly on his softs for P6. Checo's going to make some moves forward after his penalty. You imagine Lewis will do the same, although Lewis has got to do it from a considerably larger distance further back. Verstappen had started to get away, but George has reeled him back in now that DRS is enabled. We're going to be vulnerable to Carlos here, as George is going for the lead of the race. George Russell now leads, and I'm down to P5. 2 overtakes into turn 4 within a matter of metres. Barring any massive, weird shenanigans, we should be fighting for a top 6 today, again, as we thought we were in the sprint. Use a bit of battery. I'm going to go for Carlos Sainz here. On the inside of turn 4, we are back into P4. Now then, strong middle sector, please, to get me back in touch with those front 3. I want my DRS at the end of the lap, otherwise I'm in trouble. In fact, Charles Leclerc should take P2. Maybe into turn 4. They're going to be slow around turn 1 though, so we've got to be prepared for that. So they're going to go side by side. Max with a little wobble. Charles Leclerc up the inside. Max is still going to have no DRS here. He's going to lose the position. In fact, neither of them have DRS. They must have gone through the detection point exactly at the same time. George is like, "Ta very much, I'll see you later." But Charles Leclerc does take P2 eventually. This has closed Sergio Perez right back up to us as well. So now there's a 4-way fight for second place. And the outside of turn 4, Max Verstappen brake late, pinch a little but not too much. Be wary of him coming back on the track. I should probably let him have the position back because I took the position off the track, so I will do. Couldn't get the move done legally, so we'll let him have the position back. We'll stay P4 for now. Although I've got a great run on him here, and I'm going to go up the inside. I'm now going to be vulnerable as anything into turn 1, but we're into P3. We are on a podium position, or in a podium position once more as we were in the sprint. Use a lot of battery here just to make sure I'm safe. I wonder if Max is carrying a knock now from that bump with Leclerc.
Less than a second. Okay, they're on old softs. Okay, we think they've got 2 stops remaining. 2 stops remaining. And the time last lap was a 1.0.
Max is not carrying damage, but he's just lost another 2 positions. He started the race on pole, and Verstappen is now down to P5. He's going to have Sergio Perez all over him soon as well. In fact, he does have Sergio Perez all over him. Verstappen's down to P6. Just trying to get out of DRS range of the soft runners behind, which we have done somehow. The decision to go onto mediums at the start is proving to be, again, as it was in the sprint, inspired. I don't have another set of mediums, no.
Rain is forecast in just over 10 minutes' time.
Not
Rain
even that
in
long.
10
Rain in
minutes.
10 minutes, apparently. It was supposed to come right at the end. It's not. I'm sorry, it was supposed to come about 75% of the way through, which means you kind of expect it halfway through. It's actually coming a third of the way through. We are slowly reeling Charles Leclerc in at the minute. If I can have a good middle sector, we might have DRS on Charles Leclerc next lap, even by the end of the lap. The rain has been pushed back a bit. They initially said 10 minutes. Now they're saying 15. So we'll definitely take our pit stop. Sainz's pit as well as a couple of others, so they're going to potentially try and undercut. You're right. We are in a good enough position to react to those in front. I'll box when they box. If they extend, I'll extend. The light just changed. It just got significantly darker. Rain is coming. The rain's nearly here.
5 minutes until
5 minutes.
expected. 5 minutes until rain.
There was just a
definitely seemed like the fastest tyre at the moment.
There was a noticeable change in atmospheric conditions there. Everyone's holding out till the rain. We'll do the same. Yeah, this is net position. Martin, we're having an unbelievable weekend. Just finished P3 in the sprint. Took a 3-place grid penalty for a new gearbox. Started P6. We're P4 by the end of the first sector, and have now managed to get ourselves up to P3. Having a remarkably out of sync weekend with the rest of the season, but it's been pretty insane so far. Thank you for the follow, Colin. Getting a bit bored of staring at your arse, Charles. How about you look at mine?
Right, keep pushing. You're gaining on the car ahead.
Oh my god. I'm going to have DRS. Surely this is an easy overtaking to turn 4. Yes. Yes, it is. P2. We're in second place. And perfectly timed, Martin resubscribes with the yay! And raindrops. I'm sure I just saw raindrops as well. It's all kicking off. It's all kicking off. The rain is here. Sainz is now up to P5. Carlos Sainz is on the march. He's only 8 seconds behind now. And he's going to start closing on Sergio Perez very quickly. Charles is becoming more and more competitive in these greasy conditions. Gap to Sainz is under 7 now as well. Do I put some more front wing in for the wet conditions? I don't know. Charles is going to get me. Charles is going to get me. Yeah, I'm struggling now.
The car behind's gaining on you by 0.5 a lap.
Sainz under 6 seconds. He's coming at a second a lap right now. We need this wet weather changeover before lap 36, otherwise we're in trouble behind. I'll put an extra 4 ticks of front wing in. We'll go from 28 to 32. This is getting slippery now, but I don't know.
Battery charge is high. Let's use that overtake button a bit more.
I don't know whether it's my tyres or the rain. I think it's more my tyres than anything else. Nobody yet stopping for wet weather tyres. I'm terrified about making the call to come in for a set of softs, expecting it to not really get much wetter than this, and then need the intermediates. Is it gonna? That's the question. Is it gonna? Or is it nah? You're right, Carlos Sainz's softs are going to be going again, but even his worn softs are not going to be as worn as my practically nearly rubberless mediums. Sergio Perez has a train behind him. It's getting wetter. It's genuinely getting wetter. I I can see Carlos Sainz behind now. We're in fact now closer to P4 than we are P2. Go away, Carlos! Still no one's pit.
Okay, so the gap to the car behind is
For
1.7
intermediates.
seconds.
We nearly got puddles forming.
Dries definitely seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
Do they though? Have you seen the track? It's wet, mate. No one else is coming in though. Nobody else has come in.
Right, we're no longer sure that the tyres are the right ones. It might be time to come in and change.
Yeah, box.
Okay, we can take you this lap.
Boxing for intermediate tyres. I've no idea if this is the right call or not because everyone else is staying out.
There seems to have been a problem attaching
Oh, don't
the
do
left
that to
rear
me.
wheel. We need to try and put that behind us though, and let's finish this race strong. Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross onto the track.
We're the first to make the call. We've potentially, if it's the wrong call, thrown away a podium. I feel like I've got some pace though. Norris in the pits, but what for? What for, Lando? Lando, I think Lando's putting another set. Lando's put inters on. Lando's put inters on. It's only myself and Lando Norris that have pulled the trigger so far. But Lando Norris has now just put inters on, and one of the Alphas has just come in as well. And still others continue. I don't understand how they're still going. Watch George. What's he doing? He's pitting! They're pitting! Now, did we do it in time? I don't think we did. I think they're going to come out. They're going to have extended the gap on me, I think. Not everyone's pitting yet either. Still some are staying out. Oh, there they are! Hi, Charles. It's wet, innit, mate?
Okay, push.
I'm pushing!
6.3 seconds.
We're still a net P3. We're still a net P3 when everyone else has put intermediate tyres on. And we know that we've got 2 sets of fresh softs at the end of the race that we can use that will get us to the end of the race and comfortably. Have they disabled DRS yet? I don't think they've disabled DRS yet, have they? Sainz is in. Still, some of them keep going. Verstappen is still going on dry weather tyres.
Okay, you're doing well out there. Keep it up. We're looking at about 10 more minutes of rain. 10 minutes.
Where's Carlos? Carlos is behind. Carlos is on softs.
Our gap to the car in front is 1.
Carlos hasn't put inters on. He's put softs on. He's still on dry weather tyres. This is chaos. He's still on dry weather tyres. He's gone in and come out again on another set of softs. Max and Lance Stroll and Fernando Alonso still refuse to pit. What's happening? I think we're still a net P3, but if Max, Lance and Fernando can keep this up, which it doesn't look like they can given the gaps in front, then surely we're on for a podium still today. They're so slow. I'm gonna have a look at the inside of Charles Leclerc. I'm gonna take P5. This is a net P2. A net P2. They still haven't disabled DRS. It's pissing it down, and we've still got DRS. George going for the lead as one of the Aston Martins is in the pits. Fernando Alonso finally pits from P1. George Russell takes the lead of the Grand Prix back again, and will hopefully get both Lance and Max down this straight now. No, they've both got DRS. Oh my God, we're going to be 3 wide into turn 4. Count on your grip. Count on your wet weather tyre grip. 2 cars, 1 corner. 2nd place in the Grand Prix, and Leclerc got stuck behind them. 2nd place in the Grand Prix. They lose, the soft or dry tyre runners lose so much through the middle sector now. I think they gain in the straights, but they're losing so much in the middle sector. Leclerc is now through. Charles Leclerc up to P3, and he'll start closing on me. George is just gone. I can't compete with the Mercedes in the wet. We could barely compete with him in the dry. We're in a position now where when it dries up, one set of soft tyres will get us to the end. We should only need to make one more stop for a set of softs.
Okay, not sure whether dries or inters are faster. We're right on the crossover.
You're telling me, pal.
Okay, clear.
Yellow flag. It's a Red Bull. It's Max Verstappen. But has he binned it? Or is he out? Let's have a look. He's binned it. He's battling with Carlos Sainz on dry tyres in the wet. Puts the tyre on the curb and the white line. And if it wasn't for Carlos Sainz being there, he'd have spun completely out. Or he did still spin completely out. Yeah, I don't know about you lads, but that doesn't look like it's supposed to be like that. Did he get beached? He didn't get beached. He's just got to wait for everyone else to come through. He's reversing. Well, that's Max Verstappen out of contention. It's cost Carlos Sainz some time as well. I think barring a safety car or a red flag, we're on for a podium. Where on the podium? Don't know. But I think we're on for a podium. Hi, Charles. Bye, Charles. One of the Alphas is in now.
Confirmed. We'll receive you at the end of this lap.
I've already changed my front wing settings to go down to 28. Glad I checked that because that said hard tyres. Stopping then for a set of soft tyres. George and Charles have gone to hards. Don't say it. Don't say it.
Okay, we had an
Oh,
issue
piss off. That's the
left
second
rear
pit
wheel.
stop. You
I know
fucked
it's not
up.
ideal, but let's try and put that behind us now and get back into this race. Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound.
That's the second pit stop they've messed up on that rear left tyre. I'm not happy. Not happy at all with that. Coming out P10 again. We are going to the end on this set. I can't believe they fucked up another pit stop. So annoyed. It's twice. That may genuinely end up costing us a race win. Win! We've lost maybe 6 seconds over 2 pit stops because of slow tyre changes on that rear left. Leclerc's losing loads of time tucked up behind that Aston Martin. So much time in this middle sector. He's lost like 2 seconds in this one lap, just in that middle sector alone. Lewis, Checo and Carlos Sainz all in the pits. The P6. Carlos Sainz is right with me though. Piastri's running last at the minute and he's getting lapped here. Hi Pierre, fastest lap of the race.
The car ahead, 2.2 seconds.
Piastri will move out of the way, but I think I'm going to get DRS off the back of him as well to help. Thank very much, Oscar. Love you, pal. Thanks, mate. P5. George Russell takes my fastest lap. Well, Esteban's pitting.
Time last lap was a 1:12.6. You're gaining by
Give me
2
my fastest
seconds.
lap back.
Amazing.
Alonso will take those softs to the end, I believe. I can't remember whether they said they've got 1 stop left or not. I'm sure live chat will tell me. 2.8 seconds to Charles Leclerc at the minute. There's a lapped Nick De Vries, or getting lapped Nick De Vries in front. Excuse me, Fernando. I've just got the traction. Let me go. Let me go! Thank you. George, 10 seconds down the road. We're extending over Carlos Sainz, which is what I need to do to defend from Carlos Sainz later in the race. I don't know if I'll catch Charles, but I am now hoping that my tyres hang on for a P3 finish. I'm not going to catch Charles. Sainz is going to get me. I think we're going to end up with a P4 here, which is still tremendous. But imagine what it could have been like. Imagine what it could have been like if they hadn't ballsed up 2 pit stops. If they hadn't have messed up 2 pit stops, I'd be 3 or 4 seconds behind George right now. DRS on Leclerc. I've just had to work really bloody hard for that. 10 laps to go, including the one we're on.
Okay, be aware the car behind is catching you by 0.5 a lap. 0.5.
Second place. Oh, God. That was like 5 laps of just barely speaking. Yeah, I know my tyres are worn. If Charles could hold Carlos up, that'd be lovely, because I could really do with that. Down to P3 again.
Okay, we lost the position. Try to keep focus.
I do have another set of soft tyres I can go to, but it's too late now. I just don't have the drive on the worn set of softs in the traction zones. I'm going to have to rely on DRS and ERS to try and stick with the 2 Ferraris and hope for either a mistake or a random opportunity to lunge at someone. Otherwise, it's going to be a P4 finish for us at best, with Sergio Perez probably closing down on us in the not too distant future. Carlos is going to get me. To drain my battery to try and not get taken by Carlos Sainz. 3 laps to go. Second place. Oh God, but now Leclerc's down to 4th, so it's the faster Sainz that's behind me still. And without DRS, I'm going to be very, very, very vulnerable. I need to get DRS off one of these 2 in front, and I don't think I'm going to be close enough to get it. 2 laps to go. Lap 70 of 71. I swear to God, if I get a DNF now, or I get a mechanical failure now, I'm absolutely devastated. Carlos Sainz is going to get me. It's nothing I can do about that. All I have to hope is that I can hang on and maybe get him next lap on the final lap to still take P2. I need these guys to move out the way sharpish so they don't give Carlos DRS. One of them will. I don't know whether Sainz got DRS or not. I hope he didn't, but I think he did. He didn't. I'm going to wait for turn 4.
Okay, this is your final lap of the race.
Dumping all my battery. For P2 on the last lap of the race. I couldn't stop it in time. I had to try it. It's going to be a 3rd place finish for us. here in Brazil behind the other Ferrari. We thought it was going to be Charles Leclerc. It's going to be Carlos Sainz.
Just 2 laps of fuel remaining now.
I'll try my damnedest to try and get a P2. And it is so painfully close. But it will be P3. And a podium here in Brazil. We're going to be less than half a second away from a P2. Less than 4/10 away from a P2. But that is the best race of the entire season so far by a long way.
Pretty sure the boss is going to be happy with that one.
Oh, the key was making those mediums last all the way till the rain. Fernando Alonso gets driver of the day. Thank you, Martin, for the 333 bits. And for the very first time, as my voice is going, we're going to get to see a Chesnoid Racing driver on the podium.
Tell me, Ant, how do they manage to achieve this?
Congratulations to George Russell. Firm handshakes from me. We tried everything to hold on to a P2. I just couldn't do it. The tyres just didn't quite last. I don't mind. I don't mind. If it weren't for the 2 bodged pit stops, we certainly would have got P2. We may have challenged for a win because we might have been able to get to within George's DRS. I don't know. It's ifs, buts and maybes. Regardless, at this stage of our career, it's a fantastic result and we will be happy enough with a P3. Congratulations, George. GG, my friend. It's shaky bottle time, but I don't really have any bottles around me to shake and I don't want to break anyone's trophies looking at you, Lando Norris. The music is there, it's just very quiet. Yeah. Oh, have a big old swig of that, pal. Oh, George is doing so as well.
Let's have a quick look at how the driver's standing.
I get it. My heart went for a moment there. I get a full 21 points from the weekend, which is a joint second best. But it is P3 in the race after a P3 in the full Grand Prix as well. Well, that will certainly take us clear of Alpine, and it will certainly extend my gap over Ocon and Lance Stroll. Achieve the fastest lap in any session? I did! Maybe it's achieve the fastest lap and keep the fastest lap in any session. Because I certainly set the fastest lap twice in that Grand Prix. Maybe it's a bug. I don't know. Brazil's been a little bit buggy so far, hasn't it? With the no formation lap in the sprint race. Oh, front wing flap profiles have passed as well, which is fantastic. Let's get Team Acclaim and Cash up with that as well. We've moved up above McLaren and Williams and Alfa Romeo in the performance index with that improvement. We're nearly at Spec 2 on the aerodynamics and the chassis development. A P3. Wow. Las Vegas next. A track that I've not raced at before. I've got some mail as well. What's that? Probably actually the trophy for being P3. Oh, driver stat update. All right. Well, let's apply that to existing save files then. Okay. Now, as far as I'm aware, even though they've patched it, because it was only with new saves, not existing saves, I believe that we will have our driver for the new season thing in the after the next round before Abu Dhabi. I've got 3,000 resource points that I can use. I can put it on front wing downforce. I can't do anything on the chassis side yet. I could do energy cells for ERS there. Department capacities reached, however. I could do something on the reliability side. I probably should do gearbox reliability, shouldn't I, really? Because that's been terrible for us this year. Let's do gearbox reliability. Let's do the front wing downforce as well. And we will continue to save resource points. I'm apprehensive to spend any more money. What I'd love is to get more resource points. What I'd love is to get more driver acclaim. I can't do any of that until level 15, so we're not going to be able to do that. I'm not going to go to Las Vegas at the moment because I want to add the new livery, or add the new sponsor to the car, which I haven't yet done. But chassis 2 and aerodynamics 2 is what we will get.
We'll have them with us for the next Grand Prix.
We'll suggest rather than decline.
You taking the time.
Oh, finally. Spec 2 on chassis and on the aerodynamic side as well. We're in a good
Not
spot.
currently in a rivalry. Sooner or later,
We're in
you'll
a good
probably
spot.
be asked by the media who you consider to be your
I've got 1,000 resource points.
Is why you'll
Can
receive
I
claim to
afford
beat
to
them,
do
you'll lose a
anything
claim if you fail
else?
to do so.
Not at this stage, it doesn't seem. Everything is super expensive right now. So you said there's a part of risk. Oh no, parts at risk, 0 parts. I can afford to do the energy recovery, but I don't have the department capacity for it, so I'll save my resource points. That will be us for today. YouTube, thank you very much for watching. Do make sure you subscribe to the channel because there's more to come very shortly indeed, as well as F1 Manager stuff on the way. Maybe even today, as you've seen this. I'm not entirely too sure. Certainly at least before the weekend. That's all for me for today. Thank you very much for watching. Drop the video a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, come and follow me on Twitch and enjoy these moments live. I'd love to have you there. But for now, that's all from me on YouTube. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time.